What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So later on tonight, we do have the Game Awards. Those will be starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and I will be live streaming it here tonight alongside of some of the members of the Spawncast. We'll be popping in and out of the show through Discord as we go along through the night, and I'm hoping for some big announcements. Last year we had the Series X. I'm not expecting another console exactly to be here, but you never know at the Game Awards is the point there. So come on by if you're gonna be checking it out. Should be a lot of fun. And we're actually gonna go over today some of the different teasing that was going on yesterday, as well as just some of the outright game announcements like ahead of time for what's gonna be there. And one of those could include an old franchise from Capcom seeing a revival now onto the Switch. And I want to also have a bit of an update for those PlayStation 5 faceplates, those PlayStation 5 shells, and why you may not want to buy one just yet. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if you're brand new here, hit the red subscribe button down below. And we're going to start today with Spider-Man Miles Morales, one of my favorite games of the holiday. Certainly worth a pickup if you grabbed a PlayStation 5. I mean, most likely you either picked up that or you picked up Demon's Souls, because those are the two big games there. But when you did start playing it, you had to choose between performance mode that gave you 60 frames per second, or the quality mode that cut the frame rate in half but gave you some really cool features like ray tracing. Now, however, a new update's been pushed to the PS5 version specifically that has a kind of middle ground mode. We can see that here. This is an image showcasing the Performance RT, which would be performance ray tracing. This is an alternate version of the 60 frames per second performance mode, adding ray tracing by adjusting the scene resolution, reflection quality, and pedestrian density. And I will say, when you're swinging around the city, you don't really notice the overall population density on the ground. You're just kind of swinging around and you're going super fast, unless, if you drop down and you start running around, you'll notice it. But I think that's a pretty good trade-off there, and most likely you'll see the resolution in general drop for this kind of mode. But I did take a look at it. Yeah, the ray tracing isn't amazing, like when you look into a window and you see your Spider-Man on the other side through the reflection. It's not super high quality or anything, but it is there. And it's kind of a cool thing to see the PS5 play a game at 60 frames per second with ray tracing enabled. Also, do you remember how earlier this year, we saw Ninja Gaiden Trilogy show up for the Switch? This was on a big retailer website out of China, and it made a lot of sense. It would have been a really cool thing to see announced sometime this year, but we're still kind of waiting for it. But now it looks like another website is attempting to will it back into existence here, and we can actually see a listing for it. This was noticed online the other day, and yeah, Ninja Gaiden Sigma Trilogy. This is posted up on Extra Life, and this just seemed to appear randomly, and this is the Ninja Gaiden Sigma game, the Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, and then Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. I would love to see this on the Switch, because we had Sigma and Sigma 2 on the Vita, but they weren't great versions of the Vita did what it could. That was the biggest thing here, but they weren't really, really good versions of the game. And I think the Switch would be able to do good versions of Sigma and Sigma 2 and even 3. That would be really cool to see it all as one package. But again, this is a second time we've seen this and still no announcement. But hey, the Game Awards are tonight. Every time we see games now kind of pop up around this time on retailer websites, we look to where it could be announced. And you never know. The Game Awards, sure, you could do that. We had the Bayonetta collection announced one year. Why not do the Ninja Gaiden Sigma Trilogy, or Ninja Gaiden Trilogy just announced? Oh, and we had a bit of an update from Microsoft around xCloud on PC through a web browser and on iOS. It appears that at least in the first half of 2021, because they're using very broad terminology for their release window, it does at least look like you're going to be able to check this out in the first half of next year. And we could see this posting here that they put up on their website saying, in spring 2021, we will take the next step in our journey to reach more players around the world by making cloud gaming as part of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate available on Windows PC, through the Xbox app and browser, and iOS devices through mobile web browser, which means you're going to have to do some odd things. Amazon got around Apple's, their policy with the App Store and all of this, and streaming games to your phone by having you install basically a web app through your browser, and that's how you would access it. it, Microsoft's going to do the same thing. So the install process might be a little strange. It'll kind of be its own little app to the side that you'll access on your phone, but it looks like they're shooting for the beginning of next year. Spring can go all the way to June. That's why I'm saying like first half of next year. And like I said, they're very broad with when this will be out. But first half next year, you should hopefully be able to play xCloud on your iPhone or iPad or through your browser. That's a pretty big deal too, to have that on your PC or your laptop. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start with the Game Awards. Again, later on tonight, and a lot of different social media accounts started kind of tweeting and putting things out there just to kind of get people excited and making sure they were keeping an eye on the Game Awards. Generally, if you're a company that has something there, you want to start at least getting people together to say, hey, make sure you tune in to the Game Awards, right? That's usually what we expect. If, say, PlayStation did that, we would go, oh, okay, well, I guess Sony's gonna announce something there. And they did just that. You can see the tweet here, just simply saying, tune into the Game Awards tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And I mean, look, most of us expect Sony to be there with something because they're often rolling with the PlayStation 5, and there are a lot of rumors around things like Silent Hill, and even a Metal Gear Solid remake by Bluepoint, which, whew, if they announce Metal Gear Solid, a remake for that game there, that'd be it. Like, that'd be the best announcement for me anyway, for the show. Now, we also had Microsoft start to kind of put some messaging out there that they would as well be at the Game Awards tonight. And as an example, at the bottom of that blog post that described xCloud on iOS and Windows PC browsers, we can see this here saying, as we close out this year, I'd like to thank you again on behalf of Team Xbox, not just for giving Xbox Series X and S a strong start, but for supporting our belief that this generation of gaming does and should belong to you. Stay tuned starting with the Game Awards tomorrow for more surprises, which had Forza Horizon tweet out, tune into Game Awards live this Thursday, starting at 3:30 p.m. Pacific. And look, there's a few reasons why we're seeing different times. There's like a pre-show, there's like a main show, so some of them are just tweeting out like for the pre-show as well, I believe. But either way, just 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll go with that, okay? But the Forza Horizon thing here appears to be a collaboration with Cyberpunk, like a car from Cyberpunk. It is at least what it seems to be right now. People were wondering, does that mean Forza Horizon 5 is getting announced? I would say probably not, considering we're still waiting to hear about Forza Motorsport, right? Remember that? We had like a trailer for that, and then it kind of disappeared, and I guess it's happening this year coming up because there has been some mention of that being a 2021 like holiday game, so we'll see with that one there. But then we also had Aaron Greenberg try to temper expectations a little bit. You will see us in our social handles promoting tune in for the Game Awards tomorrow. We hope you support the industry and watch. While we have a couple moments in the show, I would dial expectations way down versus speculation I am seeing, especially how big we went last year. I mean, here, the thing with this is Microsoft revealed their next generation console last year. They're not going to top that. Like, what would be able to top a next generation console unless you had like another next generation console, another console to show off? I mean, let's say they never showed the Series S and that was going to be something that was going to launch next year. That would have been a pretty big announcement to say, hey, you know about the $500 Xbox, but what about the $300 Xbox that can play all those same games better than the One X with an SSD and all this? See, that would have been one to really have the hype levels turned up for. But really what I'm seeing here for Microsoft, probably that Cyberpunk collaboration with Forza, that would actually be pretty cool, right? And then probably some Game Pass announcements. And that would be neat because they could do something like it's available right now. And then we had Jeff Keighley tweet this out. This year, the Game Awards will feature the announcement of some exciting new next generation projects. Here's one hint. I'm excited to have Glenn Schofield, the Striking Distance Studios, join us to reveal their first game to the world on Thursday. This was the studio that was created to develop a narrative-driven experience in the PUBG universe. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm curious the direction they would go with something like that, a more story-driven game that's based around PUBG. I mean, that could be kind of cool, especially with the popularity of PUBG just overall. And then we had Oddworld tweet out the Game Awards 2020 with hashtag Oddworld Soulstorm, which I thought was supposed to come out in 2020. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case unless they just release it just at the Game Awards. Don't think so though, but I do believe we could see a release date here for Oddworld, which would be pretty cool. And then on top of all of this, Disco Elysium developers on their website changed their own website up a bit, and it just says soon, which could mean a couple of things. Could it be a new game from them, or could it be that they will finally date and announce the console versions of Disco Elysium? I think that's most likely, and it would be a pretty cool announcement to see there. But I gotta say, looking down this list of just accounts that were tweeting out, making sure we were keeping an eye on it. And then Jeff Keighley mentioned before that nothing's really leaked out at all for what's going to be at the awards show, and how he likes to do all these strange things to try to keep things under wraps, like have Phil Spencer do entire rehearsals with different scripts so that he could keep the Xbox Series X reveal a secret. I mean, I think we're in for a few surprises at least tonight, and just based on some stuff we're seeing here, it could be a pretty packed show. Next up, let's talk about Ghosts and Goblins. Yeah, you remember this game? This is back in '85, I believe, in the arcades, and then I know we had several spin-offs of Ghosts and Goblins. We had Super Ghouls and Ghosts on the Super Nintendo. We had it on the PSP. That's actually a version I even remember playing a bit, and I think the most recent release from this series was actually on iOS in 2009 and 2010. So it hasn't been on a console, I think, since the PlayStation and the Saturn and then the Super Nintendo, basically like the early to mid 90s. So it's interesting to hear that Capcom could actually be bringing this series back in a big way. Not even just like a little arcade mix-up like I saw some people saying, oh, they could just do like a remix and throw a bunch of like the older legacy games in there. No, I think this is actually going to be a fairly serious attempt by Capcom to bring this series back. And you know what? We get a little more evidence now on top of this. We had those Capcom leaks. There was a project in there. It was called Project Guillotine, I believe, and it appeared to be a Switch game. But if we go over here on Twitter, we can see this tweet from Brian. Capcom has renewed the trademark for Ghosts and Goblins. G&G fans should be eating good next year. And then back when the Capcom leaks were going around, there were several different slides that were passed around and then pulled down. But check this out here from Passing Assassin. Ghosts and Goblins RE, translated decrypted from RE, is a Nintendo Switch timed exclusive. RE probably stands for RE Engine, releasing on February 25th. It has promotional support from Nintendo and is exclusive for 3 months. It'll release on June 1st on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. That's right, you're reading that correctly there. An RE version of Ghosts and Goblins. That I don't even know what that's going to look like. I'm trying to picture it right now. And by the way, I like Capcom using the RE engine here because it's interesting to see it used in different ways like this. I mean, I'm picturing a 2D platformer, but what if they go the route of like a Maximo with this and they just use the Ghosts and Goblins name for it? Like, I miss Maximo. That was on the PS2. They had like 2 games there. Those are the ones I remember playing anyway. And that was kind of it. But I really liked Maximo. I think the problem was these games are just too hard. And Capcom noticed that, and I think that's kind of why they pulled back from it. But now we've had this resurgence of difficult games with the Soul series, and that's branched off to Bloodborne and Sekiro. We like to be punished, apparently, as gamers. So let's bring Ghosts and Goblins back. And I mean, the Game Awards tonight, if this is really coming out February 25th, it would either be unveiled tonight and then have like a 2 or 3 month run up to release, or it would be in like a January direct and have like a 1 month run up. I feel like they'd want to get that announced sooner rather than later, and the Game Awards is a good spot. That would be a surprise. If we didn't have the Capcom leaks or this trademark spotted here, I think people would be legitimately shocked that an RE engine build for Ghosts and Goblins, brand new, showed up at the Game Awards, and we'll see, but that's exciting stuff to hear. In our last bit of news, let's talk about those PlayStation 5 faceplates, those PlayStation 5 shells that we talked about previously. Started with PlateStation, who was attempting to create their own shells to sell. Sony came in, shut that down, and now we have Game Armor, and another website popped up, even messaged me about this, and I said, those look exactly like Game Armor's shells. So I started to look around, and then I had another source reach out to me and tell me where they were getting these from. And it starts to make a lot more sense now as to why Sony won't necessarily come in and shut these places down, because it's coming from China, and like copyright laws and stuff, they don't really reach there. Like if you go on like Alibaba as an example, AliExpress, you're gonna see a lot of knockoffs and stuff, and Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft don't really touch those places because they really can't. But if we look at this listing here, we can see it. I mean, this is custom plastic replacement faceplate cover skin for PS5 console with different color. And we can see the exact same pictures actually that were being used there. Now they have these, you have to buy them in heavy bulk, 50 to 199 pieces, and there's heavy shipping on top of that even. But my point here, and why I'm saying not to buy these right now, or at least initially, is because most likely you will see these start to show up individually on eBay and Amazon. And when everyone starts selling them there, you'll see the prices drop down pretty well. Like it was on, I think, Game Armor for 50, but then they marked it down to 35 for a sale, right? But I think you'll see these pop up on Amazon Prime ship, much like we see the shells for Switch systems right now for the backing and the front of it and the Joy-Con shell. You can get so many of them. I think we'll see a bit of a flooding here for the market for PS5 shells, same way. So I would hold out a little bit here. I know it looked pretty cool because we had like red, blue, and matte black, but not too much longer. I feel like these things will be 20 bucks for both plates, like max with shipping involved. So just hold off a little bit here. We'll get into 2021 and see where we are with these faceplates. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from Tommy saying, no subs on your vids lately. As a deaf person, this is annoying. Okay, so I double checked because I said, I thought I had auto-generate captions at least put on, and I did for every video that I could find except for yesterday's video. I have no idea what happened yesterday. I went on there, I tried to generate them, but it wouldn't work for some reason. So I will double check whenever I upload and it's done processing, just to make sure that the auto caption is at least enabled, because I think something got tripped up in processing for YouTube for yesterday's video. But I double checked all of the other news waves for this week, and even that PS5 like overheating video, which, I mean, hey, the auto captions, they did their best for that video because that was all over the place there. But yeah, I will make sure that they at least have auto captions turned on for you going forward here in all these different Newswave videos and the tech waves, because the tech waves in particular, for some reason, are just hilarious half the time to read. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike, leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. Well, there's the Game Awards later on tonight. What's your big prediction for tonight? What's the big wow announcement? Like, we had the Xbox Series X alongside of Hellblade 2 last year, but what's gonna wow everyone tonight? And then, what do you think about Capcom possibly reaching all the way back into their library of games and pulling out Ghosts and Goblins and saying, yeah, just throw this into the RE engine and see what we get? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.